You know that feeling, right? You're stuck on a problem for what feels like forever, and then bam, out of absolutely nowhere, the perfect solution just pops into your head. Or maybe you've had one of those moments of just total clarity where everything suddenly makes sense. Well, those are moments of insight, and today we are going to pull them apart and see what makes them tick. Where do they come from? And more importantly, how can we get more of them? It's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We have this romantic idea that great ideas just arrive in a flash of genius, like a lightning bolt from a clear blue sky. But is it really that simple? To get to the bottom of this, we're going to have to travel back in time, way back, over 2,000 years, to a story that all starts with one very famous word. I have found it! Of course, that famous shout belongs to Archimedes, one of the greatest minds of the ancient world. But what exactly did he find? You see, this story isn't just about a brilliant idea. It's actually a masterclass in how insight is born, and it usually starts with a really tricky struggle. So the king of Syracuse, a guy named Hero, had a big problem. He'd paid for this incredible pure gold crown, but he had this nagging feeling the goldsmith had ripped him off, maybe mixed in some cheaper silver. The crown weighed the right amount? Sure, but how could he prove it was pure gold? Now here's the real kicker. The crown was a sacred object. It could not be damaged, bent, or melted down in any way. Talk about a puzzle. Archimedes obsessed over this. I mean, he wrestled with this problem day and night, racking his brain for a solution. But the answer didn't come when he was hunched over a desk. Nope, it came when he stopped trying so hard. As he was stepping into his bath, he saw the water level rise and spill over the side. And in that simple, everyday moment, it just clicked. An object displaces its own volume in water. He had it. He'd found the answer. What's so amazing about this story is that it reveals this hidden recipe for insight, a pattern that we can actually follow. It's not just random luck. It's a three-step dance. First, you have to completely immerse yourself in the problem. You learn everything you can, you try every possible solution. Then, and this is the part we almost always forget, you have to intentionally step away. Take a walk, take a bath, do literally anything else. Let your subconscious mind chew on it for a while. And that, right there, is when the Eureka moment has a chance to strike. So, Archimedes' story is all about finding that mental light bulb, that moment of clarity. But what happens when that light bulb starts to flicker? Or maybe it feels like it's gone out completely. You know, when we just feel stuck in the dark. Well, it turns out that feeling isn't just a metaphor. It's deeply rooted in our biology. Think of your mind as a room. An insight is like someone flicking on a light switch. Well, for some of us, as the literal light from the sun gets weaker in the fall and winter, that internal light switch seems to dim too. It makes it so much harder to feel energized, motivated, or to think clearly. This experience actually has a name. It's called Seasonal Affective Disorder, or SAD for short. It's a very real form of depression, where symptoms show up and then disappear with the changing seasons. It's this powerful reminder of just how connected our inner world, our very capacity to feel that light, is to the world outside. Now, it's really important to draw a line between two different things here. The winter blues are super common. About a quarter of us feel a little more sluggish or kind of down when the days get short. But for up to 9% of people, SAD is a clinical condition with symptoms that are much more severe, and it can really disrupt every part of a person's life. So what's actually going on inside our brains? Well, less sunlight can cause a drop in serotonin, which is basically the brain's mood-regulating chemical. At the same time, our bodies might start making too much melatonin, the hormone that tells us it's time to sleep. And the result? Our internal body clock, our circadian rhythm, gets totally thrown out of whack. It can leave us feeling just constantly jet-lagged and completely out of sorts. Okay, so insight can be a psychological process, and we know its absence can be biological. But what if it's also a choice? What if our ability to find that light bulb moment depends not just on our brain chemistry, but on where we deliberately decide to put our focus, especially when things go wrong? This incredible quote is often credited to Alexander Graham Bell. And while people debate who said it first, the wisdom in it is undeniable. It just perfectly captures this fundamental truth about life, doesn't it? Setbacks are gonna happen. Doors are gonna close. The real test is what you do next. Let's make this personal for a second. This isn't just a nice saying. It's a diagnostic question for your own life. When you hit a roadblock, a project fails, a relationship ends, a plan totally falls apart, where does your attention go? Do you get stuck just staring at that closed door, replaying what went wrong over and over? Or do you take a breath and start scanning the horizon, looking for that new door that just might have creaked open? That shift in focus, that is a powerful form of insight all by itself. We've looked at insight as a mental game, a biological reality, and a choice of perception. But what about the deepest, most profound kind of insight there is? I'm talking about a moment of clarity so powerful it doesn't just solve a problem, it completely rearranges your reality. This is what you call a revelation. It's not just about finding an answer, it's about being given an answer that changes the very questions you were asking in the first place. There's an ancient story in the Gospel of Mark that gives us this absolutely stunning picture of what this kind of moment looks like. So just days after Jesus tells his closest friends the confusing, devastating news that he was going to have to suffer and die, he gives 3 of them a peek behind the curtain. He takes them up a high mountain, and right before their eyes, he is transfigured. His whole appearance changes, revealing this divine glory. And then, 2 of the most important figures in their entire history, Moses and Elijah, just appear next to him. And if that wasn't enough, a voice from a cloud confirms who he is. For those disciples, wow, that was a moment of supreme insight that changed everything they thought they knew. All right, we've been on quite a journey, haven't we? From a bathtub in ancient Greece to a mountaintop in ancient Judea. Let's take a moment and pull all these different threads together to see the complete anatomy of these powerful aha moments. So what have we seen? Well, it turns out insight isn't just one thing. It has at least 4 different faces. It can be psychological, like that mental light bulb that went off for Archimedes, born from that rhythm of hard work and then letting go. It can be biological, tied directly to our brain chemistry in the light we see every day. It's perceptual, that conscious choice to stop staring at closed doors and start looking for the open ones. And sometimes it's spiritual, a deep, profound revelation that gives us a glimpse of a much bigger reality. Here's the bottom line. Whether it's a clever solution to a tricky problem, a realization about your own health, or a breathtaking moment of clarity that changes your whole world, every single insight presents you with an open door. It's an invitation to a new way forward. But the understanding, the aha, that's just the beginning. The real journey starts with the choice you make next.